So I wanted to go over 89. It was requested for homework, and also 114. So I'm going to start with 89. This is from homework 1 to 2. We know a couple things. The area of this triangle is 30 inches squared. The length of JL we know is 12. And it's saying it's find the length of KL, so we can call this X. Now, there's kind of a couple different ways to approach it, but actually the only place we can start is here. And since we know this is a right triangle, we know that the area of a right triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. Now, we have the base and we have the area, so we can go ahead and substitute both of those in. 30 equals 1/2 12 times our height, which we do not know, which we're going to label. Now, since we're solving for one variable, h, we can go ahead and combine these. 1/2 times 12, we get 30 equals 6h. Divide each by 6. H is equal to 5. Now, if we fill this in, we know this is 5. How does this help us? Well, now if we look at this triangle, this right triangle, we have an angle, and we have a side opposite and the hypotenuse. So we can kind of use trig here. We have our opposite side and we have our hypotenuse. So we're going to use our trig ratio of sine, since we have O and H. So now we can go ahead and write sine 36 is equal to our opposite side 5 over x, and multiply each side by x. By x, these cancel. I have x sine of 30, sine of 36 equals 5. Divide each side by sine of 36, sine of 36. And make sure your calculator is in degrees. 5 divided by sine of 36 is equal to x approximately equals 8.5. And that's the length of KL. So this is a lot of what this year is about. You get a little bit of information, mark everything up, and figure out how you can go backwards from what you know. So using the area formula first here, and we can do that because it's a right triangle, and then moving into SOHCAHTOA here. So using different tools to solve a more complex problem. Alright, let's look at another one, 114. Alright, so 114 is a triangle problem, so I'm actually just going to move over to my blank screen so I can draw it. We have 3 sides. This is going to be a non-right triangle. So we have 5, 6, and 8. And we need to find all the angles of this triangle. So we have side, side, side. The only formula we can use here is law of cosines, because we have no angles. So law of cosines is going to look like this. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. There's your Pythagorean theorem. Minus 2ab cosine of c. Alright, now remember, it's all about opposites. So I'm just going to start here with the 5. I'm going to go across from it. These are going to be my c's. Alright, so this is where I'm going to start. So 5 squared, and let's call this, what is call this angle C? We'll call this A and this B. It doesn't matter how you letter it as long as you're thinking opposites. So 5 squared equals, and then on the other end, we're going to do cosine of our angle, which we do not know, but we do know everything else. So we have 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2, 6 times 8 times cosine of c. So again, you see my opposites. 5 and c are on the outside. Alright, let's go ahead and do the math. 25 100 minus don't combine these. You just subtract 100. Negative 75 equals negative 96 cosine of C. Divide each side by negative 96. Negative 96. 25 divided by 96, we get 0.78, which equals cosine of C. And from there, leave your answer in your calculator, take cos inverse. Cos inverse 38.6. So C is equal to 38. We can round to the nearest tenth here, 38.6 degrees. So that gives me this angle. Now that we have angle C, we have one angle, and the opposite side, we can go ahead and use law of sines. So sine of 38.6 over 5 is equal to sine of 6, and we'll do it over B. Cross multiply, B sine 38.6 is equal to, oops, set this up wrong. Notice my mistake right here. We're not taking sine of 6, we're taking sine of B over 6. There we go. Now we can cross multiply. Remember, we're taking the sine of the angle. 6 sine of 38.6 equals 5 sine of B. Divide each side by 5. 6 sine of 38.6 divided by 5. 0.748 equals sine of B. Now we can take the inverse of each. Sine inverse, sine inverse. Get B is equal to about 48.5 degrees. Alright, so that's B and C. And now we got one angle left. We'll have to subtract from 90. So 48.5 plus 38.6. 90 minus second answer looks like 92.9. Angle A equals 92.9 degrees. And that will be our last angle, not triangle, angle. And that's just using 180, adding them up. So law of cosines in the beginning, to law of sines, and then we finish up with just subtracting from 180 here. Alright, I hope that helps with 114. You'll probably see this on your quiz or something like that on Tuesday.